All right, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you could change your life. When you're dealing with a narcissist, someone who thrives on control, chaos, and tearing you down, you're stuck in this exhausting cycle where nothing you do is ever good enough. You explain, you defend, you beg, you cry, and still nothing changes. But here's the truth no one tells you. You hold all the power, not by fighting harder, not by proving your worth, not by getting them to finally see your side. You break a narcissist. You shatter the game they've been playing with you by doing the one thing they never expect. You walk away. No drama, no warning, no negotiation. You just leave. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why walking away is the most powerful move you will ever make and how it hits a narcissist harder than anything else you could ever say or do. Narcissists thrive on one thing: attention. It doesn't even have to be positive. Praise, anger, confusion, tears. It's all fuel to them. They are masters at provoking reactions because every reaction reassures them that they still have power over you. When you're arguing with them, explaining yourself, defending your choices, even just responding to their manipulations, you are feeding the very thing that keeps them feeling important. And the more you feed it, the stronger they feel while you get weaker and more drained. It's a cycle that never ends because they aren't looking for understanding or connection. They're looking for control and domination. The hard truth is that with narcissists, your energy is their food. Every time you answer their texts, engage in another pointless argument, or try to prove them wrong, it's like handing over a 5-course meal to someone who's starving for power. They will gobble it up and come back for more. They don't want resolution. They don't want truth. They want chaos. Because chaos keeps you distracted and trapped. Your emotional reactions, even the ones that feel justified, only deepen their grip on you. They will twist your words, ignore your feelings, and bait you again and again just to keep you engaged. Silence, on the other hand, starves them. True silence. Not angry silence, not passive-aggressive silence, not silent treatment meant to manipulate back, just a complete withdrawal of your energy. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You stop reacting. You stop giving them any part of yourself they can use. It is terrifying for a narcissist because their worst fear is irrelevance. Without your reactions, they are forced to sit alone with themselves, and they hate what's there. They've spent their whole lives trying to avoid that emptiness, that worthlessness, that deep sense of being nothing without someone else to dominate. When you go silent, you force them to confront the very thing they've been running from. And they have no idea what to do with that. At first, they might lash out. They might try harder to provoke you. They might even love bomb you, showering you with fake affection to suck you back in. But if you stay silent, if you stay out of the game, they start to crumble. You are no longer a source of supply. You are the longer the puppet they can pull strings on. You are gone, emotionally and mentally, even before you physically walk out the door. And once they realize you're not coming back, once they realize they can't trigger you anymore, they begin to unravel. Their power isn't real without your participation. Your silence takes away their mirror, their audience, their sense of importance. Without you, they are exposed for what they really are: fragile, insecure, and completely dependent on the very attention they once took for granted. Control is the lifeblood of a narcissist. It's the air they breathe. Every conversation, every argument, every silent moment, it's all an opportunity for them to control how you feel, how you think, and how you act. They want you second-guessing yourself. They want you walking on eggshells. They want you looking to them for approval, for validation, for permission to even exist as you are. Every move they make is a move toward deeper control, and the longer you stay, the more tightly they wrap their influence around your mind, your heart, and your soul. You start to lose yourself without even realizing it. You're not making choices for you anymore. You're making choices based on how they will react. You're not speaking your truth. You're filtering your words to avoid their rage, their mockery, their cold dismissals. When you stay in the cycle, you are trapped by 1,000 invisible threads. And the worst part is, you often don't even know how tightly you're bound until you try to pull away. The second you start to assert yourself, even in a small way, Well, notice their panic. It might show up as anger, guilt tripping, love bombing, or even playing the victim. Anything to hook you back in, because the moment you actually start to step away, their mask begins to crack. Their power depends entirely on your continued participation. They are only as strong as the control you allow them to have. Walking away cuts every one of those threads in an instant. It's not gradual. It's not negotiable. It's a clean, brutal break, and it terrifies them. Not because they love you. Don't get it twisted, but because they love the control they had over you. Without you there to control, they are powerless. Without you reacting, explaining, crying, chasing, or submitting, they are exposed for what they truly are. They are left standing alone with nothing but the empty shell of their false self. When you walk away, it's not just your presence they lose, it's their entire sense of dominance. It's their ability to shape your reality. It's the sick rush they get from making you doubt yourself. And the crazy part is, walking away doesn't require a fight. It doesn't require screaming or one last explanation or a final desperate attempt to make them see what they've done. In fact, the less you say, the more powerful the impact. They are banking on you needing closure, needing to be heard, needing to be understood. But the real power move is not needing anything from them at all. The real power is in recognizing that no explanation will ever be enough and choosing yourself anyway. Walking away is reclaiming your power in the most unapologetic way possible. Is sending a message that says, you no longer get access to me. You no longer get to influence how I feel about myself. You no longer get to play games with my heart, my mind, or my future. And trust me, it stings them more deeply than any insult you could ever throw their way, because narcissists don't process loss like healthy people do. They process it as a personal blow to their ego, a crack in the image they project to the world. You leaving on your terms, without drama, without begging, is a brutal mirror showing them that they are not as powerful as they believed. You don't need to slam the door or burn the bridge in a blaze of glory. You just need to leave. Quietly, firmly, fully. And in doing so, you take back everything they tried to steal from you, your peace, your worth, your freedom. The instant you walk away, you step back into your own life, your own power, and your own truth, and nothing could be more devastating to a narcissist than that. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves after dealing with a narcissist is that we need closure. We convince ourselves that if we could just get one more conversation, one more explanation, one more apology, we would finally be able to walk away and heal. But here's the hard truth. Closure, when it comes to a narcissist, is a trap. It's a setup designed to pull you back into the cycle. You're not going to get clarity. You're not going to get an apology that feels genuine. You're not going to get the validation your heart is craving. Narcissists don't hand out closure. They hand out confusion, manipulation, and more lies. The second you go back looking for closure, you open the door for them to twist the story one more time. They will gaslight you. They will downplay what happened. They will flip the blame back onto you, making you question everything you know in your gut is true. They might even pretend to give you what you want, a fake apology, some tears, a few words that sound right on the surface. But if you stay a little longer, you'll notice nothing has changed. Because it was never about understanding you. It was always about controlling the situation. They don't want you to heal. They want you to stay tied to the pain, the doubt, the fear. They want you questioning yourself so you stay stuck. You owe them nothing. You don't owe them one more conversation, one more explanation, one more chance to twist the knife. Walking away without closure from them is the real act of healing. It's choosing to give yourself the peace they will never offer you. It's deciding that your worth is not dependent on someone else's ability to recognize it. You don't need their permission to move on. You don't need their validation to feel justified in leaving. Your experiences are real. Your feelings are valid. Your pain is enough. You get to close the door because you say it's closed, not because they suddenly decided to act right for 5 minutes. When you let go of the idea of closure, you take back your power. You stop waiting for something that will never come. You stop needing answers from someone who was never honest in the first place. You stop giving them access to your mind and your heart. Real closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you choosing yourself. It comes from you refusing to let someone else's brokenness define your healing. It comes from you saying, I am done, and meaning it. Even if you never get the apology, the acknowledgement, the final conversation, the freedom you're looking for isn't on the other side of their words. It's on the other side of your decision to walk away without needing them to understand why. It's on the other side of trusting yourself enough to know you don't need their version of the story to validate your own. You already know the truth, and that's enough. Narcissists spend their whole lives running from their own emptiness. Deep down, beneath the charm, the arrogance, the manipulation, is a hollow, aching void. They build their entire identity on the approval, admiration, and control of other people because they don't have a stable sense of self to fall back on. Every lie they tell, every mask they wear, every game they play is designed to cover up the terrifying truth that without someone else reflecting back a false sense of importance, they feel like nothing. As long as they have you reacting, chasing, explaining, or needing them, they don't have to deal with that inner emptiness. Your energy fills the silence they can't bear to face. When you stay, even if you're miserable, you're serving a purpose in their life. You're a mirror they can look into to see what they want to believe about themselves, that they are powerful, desirable, irreplaceable. You're the one holding up the image they have carefully crafted and desperately need to survive. It doesn't matter if you're crying, screaming, or walking on eggshells. In their mind, your engagement means they still matter. Your emotions mean they still have an impact. Even your pain becomes proof to them that they are important enough to affect you. But when you walk away completely, without looking back, you shatter that mirror. You take away the source of their false identity. Your absence strips away the illusions they hide behind. Suddenly, there's no one left to praise them, to argue with them, to fear them. There's no audience, no validation, no attention, just silence. And in that silence, they are forced to confront what they've been avoiding their entire lives. The reality that without someone to control, they feel utterly empty and meaningless. At first, they might scramble. They'll try to replace you. They might reach out. They might lash out. They might try to make you jealous or guilt you into returning. But all of it is just a desperate attempt to avoid facing that emptiness. They don't miss you. They miss the version of themselves they could pretend to be when you were still around. They miss the power, the control, the image you helped prop up. And when they realize they can't bait you back, when they realize you're truly gone, that's when the real unraveling begins. Your absence is more powerful than any words you could ever say to them. It's more devastating than any revenge you could plan because it forces them to sit alone with the one thing they can't manipulate, can't gaslight, and can't escape: themselves. Without you there to keep feeding their ego, they are left with the emptiness they have spent a lifetime trying to avoid. And for a narcissist, that is the one thing they truly cannot handle. When you deal with a narcissist, they work hard to convince you that you are nothing without them. They chip away at your confidence, your independence, your self-worth. They twist your thoughts, make you doubt your instincts, and leave you questioning whether you are the problem. Over time, you begin to shrink. You start to believe you're too sensitive, too needy, too emotional, too difficult. You stop trusting yourself and you start living in survival mode, managing their moods, their reactions, their demands, just to keep the peace. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's control, plain and simple. And when you're caught up in it, it can feel almost impossible to remember who you even were before they got inside your head. The truth is, narcissists don't want you to respect yourself. They don't want you to feel powerful. They don't want you to recognize your own value, because the second you do, the second you start standing tall and choosing yourself, their entire illusion crumbles. They lose their grip. They lose the ability to make you jump, explain, defend, beg, or chase. They lose the ability to control your emotions and decisions. And nothing, absolutely nothing, enrages and terrifies a narcissist more than seeing the person they once controlled now thriving without them. Respecting your